So first off, no spoilers, so don't worry, don't panic, please. Right off the bat, I think I have a very common opinion when it comes to the John Wick franchise. I think it's one of the most, if not the, I'm just gonna say it, in my opinion, is the best action franchise ever made. Sure, other franchises have done gunfights, sure, other franchises have done chase scenes, explosions, sword fights, etc., but none, in my opinion, have executed it as well as the John Wick franchise has. You can really tell how passionate the creators were making these movies, and by extension, how meticulously executed all the action is. Every sequel they put out, it just seems to get better and better. And then we get to this movie, Chapter 4. So yeah, onward, let's delve deeper. After the events of John Wick Chapter 3, John is out for blood. Again, it's sort of his brand at this point. He has now decided to go against the high table and kill everybody. But is that the only way he can be free? Kill everybody? Can he kill everybody? You'll have to watch the movie for that. And that's about all you need to know, plot-wise. Plot's pretty simple for all these movies. A monkey can understand it, which I like in the context of action movies. Get to point A to point B as efficiently as possible, while also making point A and B things that you actually care about. Which in John Wick Chapter 1, spoiler alert, they murder an innocent little puppy. Kick that thing like a soccer ball. And that, among other things, there's a car involved too, ends up being the fuel to the fire for John wanting to smoke everybody. And we don't blame him. It was a simple, yet very effective catalyst. So yeah, for my action movies, I like plots that aren't so convoluted. It means more action scenes. My mushy goblin brain likes that. And the action scenes in this movie. The movie literally has everything. Horses, dogs, cars, motorcycles, guns, swords, bows, arrows, nunchucks, pencils. Callback. Literally any inanimate object that you can think of, John Wick kills somebody with it. And I'm happy to say that there is no weak spot. Whether it's gunfights, chase scenes, pencils, everything is done, dare I say, perfectly. But the strongest point in all the John Wick action scenes is the gunfights. Or gun fu. Yeah, people have been throwing around that word for quite a bit now. It kind of describes the gun melee hybrid fighting style that the John Wick franchise kind of invented, but I think specifically in this movie, it really cements that idea and shows a completely different way of approaching gunfights. One of the reasons is because they introduced body armor and armored clothing. Yes, armored is in penetration protection, not impact protection. How John Wick can fall off buildings and stuff and not get any broken bones? Who knows? But we don't care about that. Now, because of the emphasis of body armor and armored clothing, especially since John Wick 3, it's opened the doors for some truly insane and innovative gunfights. Stuff you've never seen before. Yes, gunfights done in a way that you've never seen before. I never thought I'd say that. Reason why is because for a lot of this movie specifically, guns are not implemented in like the standard conventional way. All gunfights usually entail is angles. It's an angles game. Get the right angle before the other guy gets his angle. Point, shoot, guy goes down. Not really how it works in this movie. Guns are almost used, if we're talking like video game terms, sort of as a finishing move slash heavy attack, but you can't win fights with just finishing moves and just heavy attacks in most games, if that makes any sense. Like the dudes who wear full armor. The only place they aren't armored is the neck. So basically John has to like blast them with 9mm to get him like disorientated, like stun him, knock him over, so that he can get in close, do some kung fu or gun fu, get them on the ground, break their guard, and then finish them off with a shot to the neck. Or you'll have dudes with armored clothing, where they don't have helmets, so you can take them out just by firing a shot anywhere from the neck up. But that's easier said than done. They do this, John does this. Basically, they'll take their suit and like pull it up, covering their face, and they'll kind of use their suits as like a shield. So you have to catch the bad guy at the perfect time to get off a shot when they're not doing that. So a lot of this comes down to how can I use bullets in like jujitsu to break an enemy's guard so that I can get in close and get off those shots. This kind of nerfs the whole overpowered nature of firearms and brings in a way for kung fu and fighting to be implemented without being cheesy or stupid. Everything John Wick does to take out enemies makes sense. And yeah, what they do with that whole framework is super creative. Also, surprise, Keanu does a lot of the stunts in this movie himself. Now, when I say stunts, I mean like fight choreography, gunfights, grappling, that kind of stuff. I don't think he did any of the falls in this movie. There are some gnarly falls in this movie. I'll talk about the stuntmen in a bit, because good lord. But yeah, you can tell that Keanu cares about this a lot, and he trains a lot, and it translates very well on screen. It's something where you'll only get a performance like this from an actor who is genuinely dedicated to this, and trains whether or not he's preparing for a film role or not. A vast majority of actors in the industry today could not give you a performance like that. And because how well Keanu handles himself when thrown into action scenes, there's no need for shaky cam. I hate shaky cam. And shaky cam is never implemented to hide the flaws of the stunt performers. It's to hide the flaws of the actors. And because Keanu has no flaws and is a perfect human being, no shaky cam. So you can actually see all the action in all of its glory, and it is awesome. And the fact he's doing this all in his late 50s, like, I can only hope I can move a fraction of the way he can move in this movie if I can get to that age. If we haven't nuked everything by then. So yeah, he's phenomenal. phenomenal. Also, I know people say that his character's a little dry. He doesn't say much. Yeah, he doesn't say much because he doesn't need to. He talks with these and these. He's a man of action, and I think and have always thought that it makes sense for his character to be a man of few words. Now, as far as the stunts go in this movie, I don't want this video to be an hour long. I have so much respect for the stuntmen and women who sacrificed their bodies for this movie. They gave 110% on literally everything that I saw on screen. And some of the falls these guys and gals took. You may have seen that behind the scenes video of that stunt guy throwing himself down that escalator. Yeah, that shot is in the movie. No shaky cam, no cutaways. It is shown in all of its glory with the respect that that stuntman deserves. Even with the padding underneath that fake movie prop armor, you're still throwing yourself down an escalator. Your spine and neck won't like it regardless. And even though these guys are professionals, it's still super risky. Oh, well, you don't need stuntmen, you can just use CG people. It's not the same. There is something different and visceral when you put actual stunt people in a movie as opposed to just CG rag dolls. And I've always preferred the real thing. Now, while I don't really care about the Oscars because for whatever reason I'm never invited, I do think that among cinematography, acting, and everything else that goes into making a movie, I really do feel that stunt work should at least be recognized. These people have earned that much. And this movie, among others, just proves how valuable of an asset they are. So yeah, they did a great job. Cinematography was also stellar. They had to get pretty creative with the camera placement for some of these shots just because of the sheer amount of stuff happening at any given point. They also have some cool top-down camera stuff in this movie. That is all I'll say about that. It's awesome. Sound design, amazing. Music to my ears. The score was also music to my ears, literally. Costumes, the suits. Everybody's got a suit in this universe. Also, all the actors did a really good job in this movie. Rest in peace, Mr. Lance Reddick. I really digged his character, especially in the third movie where he went all sicko mode. And while it is a shame that he passed, his work will live on, and he did a great job in all these movies. So yeah, he leaves behind a very awesome legacy. Ian McShane, always great. Lawrence Fishburne is back. The dude's always funny. Bill Skarsgård, I don't want to say too much about him, because spoilers. Donnie Yen, yeah, Ip Man is in this movie. Donnie Yen's character is really good. So good that I wouldn't be opposed to seeing more of him. Shamir Anderson plays Mr. Nobody, kind of like a tracker kind of character. He also has a dog. He's pretty good. The dog is pretty good. And that's all I will say about that. The chain of actors is pretty solid in this movie. There is no weak links. And yeah, with this movie, it's really hard to find flaws with it. Like, I'm genuinely a pretty critical guy. Anything I have like the slightest problem with would be me just nitpicking. So I'm not gonna even bother. So yeah, I can say without a doubt that this is the best action movie I've ever seen. And I don't see it being topped for a good while. I think a huge reason why the action in this movie is so polished and smooth is because its director, Chad Stahelski, was a stuntman and a stunt coordinator for a long time prior. There's a lot that a stunt coordinator can offer a director in terms of showing what's possible or not. It's a different thing entirely to give a stunt coordinator full creative control of everything, including the story. And some pretty cool things can happen when that happens. So hopefully Hollywood takes some pointers. And yeah, I think that covers almost everything. If I covered everything, we'd be here forever. But overall, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. And like I said, I don't see this movie being topped for a while. I mean, maybe Ballerina might be pretty good because it's all in the same universe. I just don't see most studio execs and directors being capable of coordinating this level of action. These guys caught lightning in a bottle 4 consecutive times, and I'm grateful for it. Alright, so that's it. I'm done. Also, let me know if you guys want to hear my thoughts on other movies. I have a lot of thoughts, so let me know. So yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.